Today I'll tell you 3 scary mysterious stories. The Scream in the Dark. It was a quiet night. David sat alone in his room, headphones on, watching videos on his laptop. The air felt heavy, though the windows were closed. He suddenly heard a sound, a faint breathing, right behind him. He turned sharply, but the room was empty. Thinking it was just his imagination, David laughed nervously and put the headphones back on. But the breathing returned, louder this time, accompanied by slow footsteps circling the room. The lights flickered, shadows stretched unnaturally across the walls. David grabbed his phone, but the screen went black in his hands. A whisper slid into his ear, though no one was there. "Do you hear it too?" His chest tightened as the footsteps stopped. The silence was unbearable. Then, without warning, a deafening scream tore through the room. It was not from the laptop, not from the street, it was right beside him. That scream was the last thing David ever heard. The next morning, the news spread across the city. David had died suddenly during the night. The cause was listed as a heart attack. But neighbors swore they had been woken by a scream so chilling, it still echoed in their ears. The children's song. It was 1:30 a.m. The neighborhood was silent, only a few dim lights flickered in the distance. Bill couldn't sleep, scrolling on his phone in the dark. Suddenly, he heard a faint sound outside. At first, he thought it was just the wind. But then he realized clearly, it was children singing. The song was strange, slow, almost mournful. 1, 2, 3, run and hide, we will see. Bill frowned and opened his window. The street was empty, not a soul in sight. Yet the song was getting closer. Nervous, Bill shut the window and tried to calm himself. His chest tightened as he walked to the kitchen for some water. But then, behind him, came the sound of children giggling. Not from the street, from inside the house. Panicked, he rushed back to his bedroom. Suddenly, something rolled across the floor with a dull thud. Bill switched on the light. An old, dusty ball lay at his feet. He had never seen it before. He picked it up. Faded words were scribbled across its surface. "You have to find us." Bill's hands shook as whispers filled the room. "He won't find us. He will stay with us." Terrified, he dropped the ball. He ran for the door, but the handle wouldn't turn. It was locked from the inside. The children's laughter grew louder, echoing through the walls. Small shadows darted across the room. Then the lights went out. In the pitch-black dark, Bill felt a tiny hand grab his wrist. It was cold as ice. A whisper pressed against his ear. "Now you'll play with us." The next morning, neighbors noticed Bill's house was strangely quiet. When they entered, the bedroom floor was marked with chalk lines, like children had been playing hide-and-seek. In the middle of the room lay the same old ball. This time, new words were written on it. "Did you find us?" "The man in the mirror." It was late evening, around 11:45 p.m. Mark had just finished work and was brushing his teeth in the bathroom. The house was quiet, only the hum of the refrigerator could be heard from the kitchen. He rinsed his mouth and looked up at the mirror. But what he saw made him freeze. The reflection in the mirror wasn't moving with him. When Mark lifted his hand, the reflection didn't. Instead, it smiled slowly, stretching its lips unnaturally wide. Mark stumbled back, heart pounding. He turned off the light and rushed to his bedroom, convincing himself he was just tired. But when he closed his eyes, he could still picture that twisted grin. Sleep wouldn't come. Suddenly, he heard faint knocking. It was coming from the bathroom. The knocks grew louder, until it sounded like fists pounding against glass. Mark forced himself to check. He opened the bathroom door. The mirror was shaking, as if someone was trapped behind it. Cracks spread across the glass, and a voice whispered from the other side, "Let me out." Mark stumbled back, but the cracks widened. A pale hand pushed through, followed by a head, the same as his own, but with black, hollow eyes. The reflection pulled itself out, crawling into the room. Mark tried to scream, but no sound came. The figure stood, brushed off its clothes, and whispered, "Finally. I'm free. You stay here now." The next morning, Mark's coworkers were shocked. He looked the same, but something about him was different, his smile too sharp, his eyes too dark. At home, the bathroom mirror was perfectly clean. On its surface, faint words were scratched from the inside. "Help me, I'm still here." Which one was the scariest? Comment below and subscribe.